bweresa anthu osiyanasiyana pamodzi kuti tizaone kuti ku Malawi ndi chani chimene tili nacho. Mulanje Mountain ndi phiri limene ife Malawi timanyadira ndipo tikuyenera tizilinyadira chifukwa ndi phiri lokhalo limene lili lalikulu kwambiri kuno ku Malawi, ku Africa kuno ndi la chinambala 3, ndiye tikuyenera tiziziwa kuti mulanje imapanga chani nanga ikuli chani tikamakwera mphiri mwa mulanje muja timaonamo zinthu zotani, taonamo ndithu mitengo yosiyanasiyana yosangalasa imene mwina simungayione pezeso kwina kulikonse. Ndiye apemphe Amalawi mwina amene sanakwanise kubwera chaka chino chaka chamawa abwere fwe TNM idinawo konkuno chifukwa cholinga chathu choti mpikisano umene ukhale ndithu pa dziko lonse lapansi. Amalawi azibwera kuti komanso anthu a dziko lonse lapansi azibwera kuti athe kuzaona zimene Malawi amapereka komanso mulanje kodi ndilotani phiri limene.
Timadziwa kuti ndokangalika kumbaliza masewero mu mpira wa miyendo, masewero osiyanasiyana, chifukwa cha TNM thandizira za masewero.
Ifeyo ndi kampani ya Malawi, zimene Amalawi amakonda timazidziwa chifukwa ife tabadwira konkuno, takulira konkuno, ndipo tizafera konkuno, muza tikanso konkuno. Cholinga chathu ndi choti pamene Amalawi tikukula tizitha kugwirana manja. Ngati kampani ya Malawi timafuna kuti tigwirane nawo manja Malawi kuti titukule dziko lathu. Ngati ife sitiyamba ndiye kuti tisadikire ena ake ochokera kwina kwake kuti azatukule dziko lathu. Ndiye ifeyo timapanga zonsezi ndi cholinga choti dziko la Malawi litukuke m'madera osiyanasiyana. Nchifukwa timapanga za mpira wa miyendo, timapanga za golf, timapanga zosiyanasiyana ngakhale zothamanga zimene tili tsiku la lero. Cholinga choti tigwirane nawo manja Malawi titukulane njira ine iliyonse imene tingakwanitse.
And that's how we conclude this edition of MBC Sport. A reminder of the top stories. Malawi under-20 ready to scorch Amajita in the return match of the African Championship. Pupils go and conquer. Plenty of games in the TNM Super League. Pupils are in the capital city to face Silver Strikers in a cracker to watch at the Silver Stadium in the TNM Super League. Up until next week when we return with another edition of MBC Sport. On behalf of the entire production team, my name is Paul Kamanga. Thank you very much indeed. Malawi iyake moto kuti boo. Goodbye.
The MBC debates.
The flow of water was reduced to about 110 cubics, which translated to still a lower production, let's say about 140 megawatts instead of 150 megawatts.
As one of the consumers of electricity in Malawi, I haven't been convinced as to the long-term plans that you have.
Don't miss the MBC debates coming away live every Friday. We'll be discussing pertinent issues affecting you and the society.
Issue of blackouts, it has been a song here in Malawi for some time.
I wanted to ask him if he has ever tested the blackout, the bad side or the dark side of the blackout.
I sleep, there's no power. And I wake up, power is gone. I'm also affected as when I am at home, I'm a consumer, I'm a customer. I consume power. But what ESCOM is doing as
the MBC debates this Friday from 6 o'clock. Don't miss. Every Friday, we discuss pertinent issues affecting you and, of course, our society. Remember, every Friday from 6 o'clock on MBC.
MBC, inspiring the nation.
Welcome from MBC. Welcome to MBC Debate. This is a program where we discuss pertinent issues affecting our society. And tonight we're talking about the issue of volunteerism. Is it important for young people to involve themselves in voluntary work? Of course, we'll hear some experiences from our international friends from Culford. But of course, we'll also hear from officials from different organizations in the country on their contribution in terms of issues of volunteerism. Welcome. You're with me, Vincent Konyongwa. Tikulandeni pano pa MBC program yake MBC Debates. Program ya msutso timakhala kugamba nkhani zosiyanasiyana zimene zikutikhudza ife Amalawi. Ndi lero tifuna tikambe nkhani imene tikugamba kuti kodi nkofunikira kuti Amalawi imene tizigwira ntchito zina mongozipereka kodi kufunika kwake kotere ndikotani. Pachatu tiliso ndi sanamene zingapo zimene timakhala kuyang'ana dziko muno kukonda dziko lathu. Patriotism ikulowaso pomwepo ndithu kodi nkofunika kotani kuti Amalawi tizichita zimenezi. Ndiye tikhale tikukambirana nkhani imeneyi program yathu ya lero takulandirani. Ndiye poyamba tidziwe amene tili nawo program iyi tili nawo tu maofficials ochokera ku TVET komanso tu anzathu ena ochokera ku skulu ina yakunja kumene ku UK ku Culford University akhala akubwera kuno ku Malawi kwa zaka 10 tsopano kumagwira ntchito mozipereka. Amenewa tiaone ndithu aperekanso tu mfundo zawo komanso ma experiences zawo akabwera kuno komanso akapita maiko ena kuti kodi zimakhala motani. Program yake MBC Debate. Poyamba tikudziweni amene muli kutsogoloko.
Ine dzina langa ndine Chris Mesuku. Ndine mmodzi amene ndagwira ntchito kwambiri yodzipereka komanso ndagwira ndi achinyamata ambiri amene agwira modzipereka muno Malawi.
All right, and welcome to the program. Introduce yourself and, of course, give us a brief background on how you've been coming to Malawi to do the voluntary work and how you think that has assisted you to develop this issue of voluntary work or volunteerism.
Sure, thank you. So my name's Andy Dean and I'm in charge of this group of students who are out in Malawi at the moment. We come from a school called Culford School, which is near Cambridge in the UK. And every year for the last 10 years we've been coming to Blantyre doing volunteering projects according to needs in the local area, according to our contacts within this part of Malawi. And we basically introduce our students who are most unfamiliar with Malawi's particular needs to what they can do. And we plan for a whole year and we try and benefit as many communities as we can within the 3 weeks that we're here. Usually we look at education and also building projects related to education or orphanages. But we also look at other interesting things. So for example, 15 out of the students here today have just given blood. Tomorrow we are going to a prison in Chikwawa and we are going to be sharing some love with the prisoners. And just to give them a special day and to keep the communication going between the outside world and the prisoners, and just to show our presence in as many areas as we can. So of course we have many ongoing projects, and most recently we've been tapping into Fisherman's Rest which is an amazing project base in the Lower Shiri Valley, who cover so many different areas of society, as you probably know, ranging from education to chick projects, forestation, and encouraging communities to take control of their own resources, and encouraging volunteering amongst the Malawi community as well, of course.
Right. You've rightly put that amongst the team, you said about 15 have donated blood and been involved in several activities. First of all, how did you identify Malawi, to be coming to Malawi to be doing such work?
Well, I was a teacher at St Andrews International High School for 4 years between 2001 and 2005. And I left Malawi with a heavy heart. It was mainly for family reasons that we said goodbye to Malawi. And I never knew what the next chapter would hold. But when I got my job at this school, Culford School, within the first year, I was talking to my head teacher there, and he was very interested in the charity contacts that we already had in Malawi. And so in 2009, we came here for the very first time as a school. And for me personally, it was just wonderful to come back and to renew friendships, and also to do something very different, because teaching in an international school is a million miles away from going into the Lower Shiri Valley, getting to know the communities, looking at the needs, and getting your hands dirty, and leaving some of the Blantyre prosperity, if that's the right word, behind to help areas of Malawi which are in much deeper need.
Right. We'll get back to you, but let's also hear from the officials that we have here. We've got Mr. Louis Msasa from TVET, and of course we've got Mr. Elliot Mwanje from TVET as well. If you could just share with us what kind of work that you're doing to ensure that there is also some form of voluntary work or volunteerism from us in here in Malawi, taking from what our colleagues in the UK are doing.
Yeah, basically, as the Technical Entrepreneurial Vocational Education and Training Authority, TVET, our role is to equip the youth with various skills. And you agree with me that for someone to do some voluntary work, you also require skills. So all we do is through our technical colleges, community colleges, we are training the youth in various skills, so that as they are earning a living, they should also be instrumental to the community in as far as the provision of some services is concerned. And as an organization, we also encourage the youth, because as part of the community, we also encourage them to be able to assist in one way or another. And for instance, in one of the community colleges somewhere in Nchinji, the students built a house for an old lady who had just received the iron sheets under the Malata subsidy. So through that program, we saw the youth being instrumental in these projects. And as I'm talking now, we have some youth at Chongoni, community technical colleges, who are assisting the community in some projects on voluntary basis, of course on the belief that as they are partaking in those projects, they'll be able to gain some skills. And at the same time, what we also do during the training, also teach them to be part of the society. We train them in terms of maybe making some contributions wherever there are some emergencies, using their skills. So in a nutshell, I would say that yes, we do believe that volunteerism is very important, and I'm also glad to see our colleague there, that gentleman who was doing voluntary work, which I think for the youth is also part of giving them some responsibility, part of making them responsible in the society.
Well, thank you so much, Mr. Msasa. This is MBC Debate. We'll be right back.
This is MBC.
The flow of water was reduced to about 110 cubics, which translated to still a lower production, let's say about 140 megawatts instead of 150 megawatts.
As one of the consumers of electricity in Malawi, I haven't been convinced as to the long-term plans that you have.
Don't miss the MBC debates coming away live every Friday. We'll be discussing pertinent issues affecting you and the society.
Issue of blackouts, it has been a song here in Malawi for some time.
I wanted to ask him if he has ever tested the blackout, the bad side or the dark side of the blackout.
I sleep, there's no power. And I wake up, power is gone. I'm also affected as when I am at home, I'm a consumer, I'm a customer. I consume power. But what ESCOM is doing as
the MBC debates this Friday from 6 o'clock. Don't miss. Every Friday we discuss pertinent issues affecting you and of course our society. Remember, every Friday from 6 o'clock on MBC.
MBC, inspiring the nation.
The present and future of broadcasting in Malawi, dictating the pace. MBC Prime News.
MBC debate continues. We're talking about issues of volunteerism. We've got some guests from the UK who are in the country to do some voluntary work. Before I get to the other audience, let me just hear from one of the students from the UK who has been to Malawi. Just give us a feel. How has it been? How did you feel coming to Malawi to do some voluntary work? How do you feel yourself?
Our time here so far has been amazing. Everyone that we've met has been really positive about the situation and their life here, and they've been really inspiring to all of us. I've spoken to my friends here, and their positivity I know will bring back to England with us.
And from another one, I want to hear from the experience that you've made here in Malawi. You've been students from the school have been here. This is not the first time; it's the 10th time, I'm told. Looking at the background and looking ahead, from the experience that you get here, how do you use it? Do you take that knowledge back within your country, or how do you use that knowledge when you experience it here?
So I found out about this experience to come here through the school and through previous students, and they said that they've come back better people because everyone here is again so positive, and they feel that they've brought that back to our community, and everything they've learned from the people out here, they've brought it to Culford School and then the surrounding environment and everything.
Right. Now to the youth in Malawi now. We've heard from our colleagues who are here. Do you think this is possible amongst us as youth in Malawi to do some voluntary work, not expecting to get anything out of it, but just the spirit to help our country, having that patriotic spirit, please?
Okay, thank you. My name is Ifran Magaombe. I'm from Millennium University. First of all, I should say that volunteering is good on its own. But the problem of Malawi is when one should you go and volunteer. Most of the times we ask to go and volunteer, we are done with our school, which is not good anyway, because there is a cost of money. That means after doing our school, we need to do something. But if volunteering is there while we are like, let's say studying, as I am. I think it is what a good initiative. But the only problem is that like it needs a lot of capital anyway. Because like for you to send, let's say students to China, to England, the cost is too high anyway. So like I think with Malawi right now, I think we can be volunteering around Malawi.
Yes, around our own country, do you think it's possible to be doing that kind of work?
Yeah, it is. With having a good strategy, it is possible. That's what I can say now.
Okay. Let's hear from you before we get to the other members of the audience. Let's hear from you. What has been your experience like?
Yeah, for me, when I finished school, this was secondary school at that time, which is high school in Europe, I volunteered. So I started volunteering with an organization called AISE, Active Youth Initiative for Social Enhancement. And this was in 2001. I volunteered there. And while I was volunteering, I got exposed to the work of the NGO world, what they do, got the skills. And eventually, as the organization wanted to recruit some staff, I became one of those because I was already exposed. And what was interesting, I think, with AISE is that that organization at that time was running international volunteering programs. So we were recruiting young people from within Malawi, training them on various issues, exposing them to various programs in terms of environment, protecting the environment, on issues of education, on issues of rights, on issues of agriculture, vocational skills, and so on. And many young people, I think from Bangwe, benefited a great deal, and Malawi at large. And for me, we started recruiting also from across the globe, bringing volunteers from around the world, identifying projects similar as what Andy is doing. Actually worked with Andy on some projects. We have some projects down the lower Chile, at Namkufi, Kajere primary schools, where in coordination with the Andy here and the Culford school, we were able to build structures at that time for schools that did not even have any building. And for many Malawian young people, for me, it opened the opportunities for me, and it exposed me to, I have been exposed, I've gone to different countries to promote volunteering in Malawi. So organizations that send volunteers from across the world will go and make presentations promoting Malawi and what projects they can find, what kind of people, and so on. And I've also recruited Malawian young people in secondary schools, in colleges, training them on the importance of volunteering and how they can benefit. And for me, it's something that I always cherish in my life, because I am what I am today because of my previous background in voluntary work. And I feel sad when I see many young people shunning away from doing voluntary work. I feel sad when I see communities now asking to be paid to do voluntary work, to develop their own communities. And I think is something that I think Malawi got it wrong, and I think is something that we need. People should know the importance of ownership. I think the current government is talking about patriotism, hardworking, and these are the issues. People should be patriotic enough, loving their own countries, doing what they can to offer to develop their own communities, to help others, reach out and touch.
Now, in terms of the numbers here in Malawi, why do you think the number of young people who are willing or volunteering here in Malawi is going down? What do you think could be done to improve on these numbers?
It's creating further awareness. Many colleges or many employers, let me start with employers, I think young people do not know that they increase their opportunities to get employed much more if they got exposed in the world of work through volunteering. If, for example, an employer wants to employ a graduate, So he is faced with 2 graduates. One is just coming fresh from school and has been sitting idle for 3 years at home since he graduated. And another, after graduating or while he was in school and after graduating, he's been volunteering with various institutions, with various government departments. This person is already exposed to the world of work, the ethics of work, and he is already ready to offer his duties much more than the one who was just staying at idle. More so, the youth who is just staying at home is very easy to be involved in immoral activities because, you know, they always say an idle mind is a devil's workshop. And the more you are just sitting idle at home, you are more, you know, exposed and most likely to be involved in activities that are detrimental not only to your life, to your family, and even to your community. Unlike for young people who are proactive, contributing, helping others, you are gaining experience, you are contributing back to your community, you are also feeling a sense of accomplishment. For example, there is a disaster where you were part of the team that rescued the people, that worked to provide the food and so on a voluntary basis. You feel in your heart that you have made a great contribution helping the people that were vulnerable and needed the support most. And if you had not done that, then maybe such people would have been involved or been much more vulnerable. But also, it also helped for young people who are coming up from school to see their career options. So you either volunteer in the construction industry, you volunteer in an engineering industry, in an agricultural industry, and so on. And then you increase your horizon and see which is better, looking at what your aspirations in life are.
Okay, fine. That's the contribution from our colleague, Ms. Ruku, who's been doing some voluntary work for quite a long time here in Malawi. And of course, he's also been abroad and is promoting this kind of spirit amongst young people. He's saying it's possible indeed to have young people get themselves involved in voluntary work. This is MBC Debate coming to you live from MBC. And of course, we'll be back shortly.
Present and future of broadcasting in Malawi. Dictating the pace. NBC Prime News. 1 full hour of a variety of the latest in politics, social and development, business and economy, plus the world of sports. NBC Prime News for in-depth news coverage. Make a date every Monday and every Friday from 8 p.m. only on NBC TV. 87% viewership, inspiring the nation.
Tikupitirira ndithu program ya MBC Debate pano pa MBC timakhala tikukamba nkhani zosiyanasiyana. Ndiye lero tikukamba tikufunika kuti Amalawi tikhale ndi mtima okonda dziko lathu, zero patriotism, komanso tikhale ozipereka kugwira ntchito zina mwachifundo ndithu mongothandiza imene yakuchitira anzathu amene tili nawo muno aku University ya ku UK, ku Culford University kumene kuabwera kuno ku Malawi kuzagwira ntchito mongothandiza ndi apitako ngapo Malawi muno komanso tu apereka magazi kusonyeza kuti ayiwo afuna ndithu kuthandiza. Ndiye tifunanso timve kuchokera kwa Malawi amene tili nawo muno kuti tichite motani kuti monga dziko tizitha kukonda dziko lathu matha kugwira ntchito zina mongozipereka. Ndiye mwina tiyambe ndi anzathu aku TVET, Eliot Mulanje, center manager ku TVET. Tifotokozereni mukuganiza kuti achinyamata athu ndi maluso amene mukuwapatsa tikuwasula motani kuti mwina athe khala ndikuthekera kuti ati kugwira ntchito zozipereka ngati zimenezi.
Zikomo kwambiri. First I'll speak from the perspective of training and learning.
Yes.
And also the way the system of TVET and what we do actually agrees to this concept or new idea of volunteerism. When you look at the skills development, particularly those programs that the TVET Authority does facilitate in Malawi, you'll find that key is to develop a competent artisan, technician, or a person at the end of the day, after passing through the system. Now, when you look at competency, then there are a number of inputs or what determines competence. First, you look at the knowledge that the person gets, which is theory basically. Then you look at the issues of attitudes and values, and then you look at the skill itself. So the combination of competence, the combination of skill, knowledge, and attitudes and values will make somebody competent enough. And how do you get that? Our system actually has two components: the practical side as well as the knowledge and theory part. And this issue of volunteerism will help to enhance the system, particularly those that are passing through the technical colleges or the skills development initiative, to be enhanced in the issue of the technical side, which is the skill itself, and also the value side. For example, if you have graduated from a college, it gives you an opportunity to go to the industry and practice what you have acquired as a skill, and also give you an opportunity to experience the demonstration or disposition of the attitudes that are pertaining to the industry for which you work. There is at times a gap between the attitudes and value that the trainees are getting when they are in colleges versus what the industry is looking for. It is a different or total ball game at the industry in as far as fitting together the attitudes and values. And you notice that we normally say in technical skills that practice makes perfect. And therefore, this volunteerism will help to assist in the students or the graduates from the colleges to acquire the practicing or the experience at the workplace. And in the system, we try to give them the opportunity by sending the students whilst in college to attachment places at the industry. Now at the attachment places, they are actually working. But for them to fend themselves in terms of living cost, upkeep is given either by the companies or the authority itself. But resources being limited, we are looking at if somebody would volunteer himself to say, I would not need actually upkeep from the authority or the companies as discounted wages as apprentices require, then it creates or it increases the number of opportunities to take those students for work. Because we do know that the market in Malawi, one limiting factor is that yes, companies will want to take them for attachment, to experience or to show that, to give them the practicing field. But often they are limited, what should we pay them because of they have limited budgets and what have you. But there is also an issue that perhaps as we look at this as being put in the training taking place, as well as in Malawi, not only pertaining to the TVET system, but even broadly, we need to look at demystifying the issue of volunteerism, because it does sometimes have different connotation, negative in some cases, but it is time that we need to move away from there and all get to understand that it is more important and it enhances the number of training outputs than perhaps what we think from the other sides of the years. Therefore, there will be a lot of need to do sensitization from the low level education, primary schools, secondary schools, and even the tertiary institutions, so that we do appreciate the importance of volunteerism.
All right. Thank you so much, Mr. Mwanje. Mwina tuliveko kwanza tu audience kuti mwina tikanakonda patachitika zotani kuti Amalawi tikhale ndi mtima kuti mwina ndithe kugwirako ntchitozi mwachifundo ndikagwira imeneyi ngakhale sindilandirapo kenakake kumano ndipeza skill ndidziwa kuti ntchito iyi amagwira motere ndipitisa patsogolo skill yanga. Mukuona kuti mwina tingamachite motani kuti Amalawi kamtima kamene kakakhalepo ndithu?
Zinanga Petros Martin, come from Millennium University. The issue of volunteerism in Malawi, maybe it can be enhanced through maybe some more educations. Put this volunteerism as a topic in our syllabus, so that the student, as they grow up from the primary to the secondary or even in the tertiary, they know the importance of that volunteerism in our country, so that we can develop our country together.
All right, fine. That's okay. After from you, then we'll get here. Let's hear from there first.
My name is Officer Jordan. I'm a student from Malawi Institute of Journalism. First of all, I think I agree that volunteerism is good, indeed, it is quite good. And I think the problem is that we Malawians, we have that spirit of that we need to be paid after participating. Yeah, after participating in maybe in development work. So I think if we can create, if we can start clearing our mind, just to volunteer, not to have that mind of being paid after doing something, that would be good. And also the other problem, I think that we think that volunteerism is only for Christianity. When we talk about volunteerism, we just leave that is for religious work. So it is not supposed to be like that. Yeah.
So it's a question of mindset change. Let's hear from our colleague down here as to what he thinks could be done in Malawi to ensure that more youth participate in some voluntary work.
Okay, my name is Rex from Millennium University. First of all, I was speaking Chichewa in English.
Yes, please.
Amalawi timene chikusweka pakati pa chinyamata chona kuti mtima wathu akukhazikika akukonda ndalama, chifukwa tikakumbukira nthawi yakamuso timamva kuna kuti ngakhale misewu amalambula maulere kwina pamakhala tsiku limene amalambula msewu mapanopa timapeza una kuti msewu umene akufuna kuti alipidwe, tiona kuti anthu akhazikika m'maganizo ofuna ndalama noti kuthandiza. In English, what should we do now? As a youth, you have to know the importance of working as volunteer, because it's like the moment you are working as a volunteer, first of all, as the guest says, you gain the skills before the act work given. You gain the skills because the moment you are at a school, it's about theoretical. It's not practical. So the moment you are working as a volunteer, it means you are gaining skills practically, and it will be very easy for a person to be employed as such. And as the guest says already, that we have to know, we have to discover the importance of working as a volunteer, because the moment you are working as a volunteer, you expose yourself to other institutions, to other organizations. They can know that. The moment this one is working as a volunteer, it means even if you employ this one, you work very, very patriotically. You need to be patriotic, as our president says. Patriotic towards our country. Thank you.
Yeah. Tatawoza membo kukamba kufunika kuti Malawi tizikonda dziko lathu, timamva dziko lathu lino amakamba ndithu kuti ayi pofunika kuti Malawi tizilikonda dziko lathu. Ndengakhala kuti dziko lathu tikulikonda, kuti ine ndine Malawi takupanga chinthu kuti chipindulire dziko lako monga Malawi. Apena timve maganizo ena mkhala kuti patsa mchichewa kapena mchingerezi.
Well, my name is Ian Simbota, just from within Blantyre. I've volunteered before. I remember when I was just coming from secondary school, that's when I started also volunteering. I was working then with the Federation of Disability Organizations in Malawi, FEDOMA, for some few years. And I remember also, as he has highlighted from AISE in front there, I think it's a moment where you get some more of exposure, not only exposures to just be seen, but also the knowledge that you get, it's very paramount. And it was at the same time that I also had a chance of being trusted to also travel abroad where I was trusted to even do some more of lectures across Norway, where I was. It was a different experience whereby I feel like at that particular time it's an experience that I would have gotten it maybe years after, when I could just think of believing of being employed, maybe if I could just wait. But it was a time that I feel like I grew in my mind. So volunteerism, I think in Malawi, it's not only to say the mindset, but also we have to take our time to have more or less of awareness to let people know what it means to volunteer and where can you volunteer, how, and what are sort of activities can you do, because mostly we think of volunteerism as sort of those people who do like caregivers and few of other activities, like our friends from all the way from UK, the works that they are doing, there are things that we can do. Blood donation itself, it's a thing that we are encouraged almost each and every day that we should donate blood. It's part of it. It's a precious gift that we can give to someone else who's struggling, but it's a thing that I don't know. So the mindset that was said, yes, it's very important, and also we should realize that before somebody comes and loves volunteerism to do it in our country, we should be the first people to think of doing that. And also as young people, we are the energy of the country. We hold the highest population. We are the people who can make things change, and we are the people who can show that we have the leadership spirit, because otherwise, without being active, then it means we prove that we are not in use. Because at the end of the day, the patriotism, the hard work that we are talking about, it's not something that we should only dream that we should be paid. Otherwise, we'll live a life of not profiting from the resources that surrounds us. Yes, of course, I know that volunteerism needs to be supported. There has to be an investment. That's why we've heard part of it saying that the government has included the internship sort of part of in the part of the budget, which is very important, yes, because it needs support. But at the end of the day, we need to own in terms of developments. Then you can agree with me, there is a project within the Ministry of Education called MESIP, where it involves community involvement by maybe the project provides little resources, for example, iron sheets and all that, and the community has to provide bricks and build a shelter where children go and make that as a school. Those are some of the things that we can look at, and that brings ownership to development. So if we are not going to be careful and not thinking of volunteering, I'm sure there is no money for every project, but there is power in if we come together and believe in developing without thinking of sort of a money.
Thank you. Another view from anyone? Okay, fine. Colleagues, you're here in Malawi. If you could also share with us the experiences and how you think youth in Malawi can follow the same way as you're doing.
Okay, hi, my name's Giselle Nine. I'm a teacher at Culford School. I teach geography. Part of the experience that I've had in Malawi is completely different to the different countries I've volunteered in before. And as a teacher, I believe that you can teach children through experiences. So all our pupils here today have gained an experience, gained new knowledge about the world and about people in Malawi, about how setting up projects and being involved and getting hands-on can make a real difference to not only the people of Malawi, but to the pupils at Culford. And I believe that that is something that we should put across to everybody in the UK, that you should get involved in volunteering, even if it's within the UK. Come to Malawi, come to all the different countries in the world, and like many people said, you know, volunteering, it's a good experience. It looks good when you apply for jobs, okay? You gain experience, you gain new skills, and it's what we should be pushing in every country.
Right. Sharing our experiences, saying as a teacher, these things can be inculcated even in young people. Just like he said that I think some of these things should be included in the country's syllabus to ensure that it's inculcated amongst the young people. Wales has another burning contribution on the same. We can contribute in any language.
I certainly feel that volunteering is beneficial to both the volunteer himself. So if I've put myself forward to do volunteering work, I'm benefiting from doing that work. But
how does it feel?
So being here in Malawi and seeing the way that the Malawian people live and how they're all happy, they're all welcoming. Yet from my perspective, that a lot of them are struggling in life, and I have now seen that I take a lot of things for granted, and I've really reflected on a lot of the things that I have that I don't really need. So I've obviously benefited from coming here, but at the same time I feel like my volunteering work has benefited a lot of people. Today I gave blood. Yesterday I was teaching a school about preventing diseases such as HIV, and that can have a big impact in a country like Malawi, I feel.
Now, okay, from you then we'll get to Andy. Yes.
My name is Felix Madres. I'm from Millennium University. To my side, I totally agree that volunteering is a very good idea, and it is really so beneficial to the person who is doing it and for the state also. But I think it should be emphasized not only to the youth, but to the whole part of the population, because we are the youth. Sometimes there's a tendency that we learn from our elders. So we may be glad to be doing the volunteering thing together with our elders. It should be the part of the whole society. Everybody must be involved in the volunteering. As I can recall, just some months, we had a tragedy in Zomba where a school block failed. But to my side, sometimes I do blame the community, because if the community was active, it would have constructed a strong school block which the students could be learning in. So, to my understanding, I would like the government or the state to be promoting volunteerism in the whole population. That's my idea.
Now, Andy, from experience, you've been here, you've gone to places, you've seen how it is. Do you think Malawian people or Malawian young people can get into this kind of work, and how do you think it would benefit them?
Okay, absolutely is the answer to that. And as we've had the examples from AISA and countless examples from the forum, there are many institutions that are offering young people the opportunity to volunteer. So the good news is the opportunities are there, and it doesn't actually need to be organized. Volunteering can be a community thing between neighbors. It can be organized on a day. It doesn't need to be structurally programmed months in advance. In fact, sometimes the best forms of volunteering are just looking around your neighborhood on any given day and seeing what needs to be done. If it's plastic bags left over from the marketplace that need to be tidied up, having a group of people just getting together on a Sunday, picking up those plastic bags and disposing with them, that's volunteering. AISA is volunteering at another different level, where people are training and dedicating their young lives to the purpose of volunteering. But all of these different levels are possible. But I think the problem with the image of volunteering in Malawi is similar to that we have in the UK, in that if you're young especially, there's a lot of pressure to be upwardly mobile, not just in your qualifications, but also financially, and to try and be able to afford the next thing. For us, it might be a car or even a house. In Malawi, of course, some of the aspirations may be less than that, but still it's the same symptom. People are wanting to be mobile in terms of what they have, in terms of possessions and the career, which may sound great when talking to your family. I'm working for a bank, I'm working for an insurance company, but actually in terms of your own self-esteem and how you feel about yourself and the impact you're having on the community may not be as great as joining forces with other volunteers. So it is possible, but I also would encourage the UK students as well as the Malawi people to not necessarily see it as a complete lifestyle. So for example, you can do it in your free time. You don't have to dedicate all of your time to this. You can still be earning money, and then in those 4 or 5 hours in the day which are left, you can divide that between your family and volunteering and your friends, and you don't have to see life as just a question of work and family. You can do more than that. And the UK pupils, the UK students know that full well. They're here today and they're not having a holiday, they're not spending time on gadgets and technology. They know that being here is the best use of their time. They'll still be full-time students in September, but they'll have had this richening experience in the meantime. So I'm very positive, but it does take courage. But as we know, it can be a springboard to careers in itself. It doesn't have to be a life of unpaid work. It can be a start, and then it can be handed down to the next person to then take on. We don't have to completely solve the world's problems in one day.
Now, from you, how do you raise the funds to enable you to travel from there, coming here, spend some 3 weeks or so? How do you raise it?
Well, that's a really important part of why these students are here, because their parents did not pay for them to come, and they had to raise their money themselves. And I'm sure they would be very happy to give accounts of what they have done since September. They've had almost a year to raise quite a lot of money, and they've been very creative in what they've done. And the volunteering, therefore, started way before they arrived in Malawi. So a lot of them have been washing cars, baking cakes, doing good in their communities, looking out for the people around them, visiting old people, and offering services within their community in exchange for a small amount of money which goes towards the trip. And what we find is that the more people they impact in the UK, even in a small way, the more the fundraising amount gets larger. Some of them have amazing ideas, such as cycling from one end of the country to the other, sometimes jumping out of an aeroplane with a parachute. Whatever suits the individual student's capabilities will work. But the important thing is that they don't just come here for 3 weeks and volunteer. They've got to earn their rights to come here, and by doing so, they appreciate the experience even more.
Right. Just from one of you, let me just get the experience. How did you raise the funds? What were you doing to raise the funds that enabled you to travel to Malawi, one of the students?
So for me personally, I held a summer evening party for over 200 people. 200 people that arrived, most of them had no idea what was going on, what I was doing and what the evening was for. But most of them, by the end of the evening, knew exactly what we were coming out here to do. Lots of them were young, many of them were elder as well, but they all contributed and wanted to contribute to this trip as well, and to help, and to also for them to feel like they've done something as well to help out as well. So that was my way of raising money.
Thank you so much. Maybe as we're going towards the end, let's hear from the officials from TVET. One of you, what do you think could be the best way forward for us as a country? Briefly.
Yeah, there are a number of things that needs to be looked in. First is the mindset change, but that will have to go along with a lot of sensitization, taking the message to everyone, particularly at the grassroots level, and even in the local communities, so that the mind can change positively towards volunteerism. Because I think we are coming from a situation whereby now we've developed ourselves as each and every aspect of work that a person should do, even the young ones, should go with money. I think there are cases whereby even when you get what was in the road and somebody just drops a few stones, they'll put a plate and say, give us this. I think these are the things that we need to check against. But they look good and it can be doable.
Okay, fine. It's doable indeed. Let's hear from you, Christopher, as we are winding up now. What do you think, or as a youngster, what are you doing to ensure that more people join you?
I think it's creating more awareness about the importance of volunteering, benefits to the individual, to the community or institutions you're working for. The other part is, I think the government, through the Ministry of Youth, developed the National Youth Policy. And there are a number of issues. One of it is the National Youth Service. And in the National Youth Service, we've already seen, I think the current government, my friend Simboda, has talked about the internship program. I think it's too late, but better late than never. We are glad that we have started. We need to expand such programs, go to the communities, even to activities that cannot be paid for money. Lastly, if we can reintroduce Youth Week. Long ago, there used to be a Youth Week. A Youth Week where young people would volunteer their services to develop their own communities for free. Across each school, across each community, across each village, and we are going to recreate and reintroduce volunteering. And young people will grow up knowing that I can contribute my services to the development of my community.
Right. Thank you so much, and of course to you, Andy. Thank you so much for coming, for sparing the time to come to Malawi of all the countries. Though you taught here in Malawi, but you thought of coming back to Malawi. Thank you so much, and of course to the students from the UK, wishing you all the best and a nice experience as you're still here in Malawi. And to you officials from TVET, we thank you so much for being a part of the audience, and to the rest of the audience, thank you so much for being part of this program tonight. And of course from me, Vincent Konyongwa, it's keep watching NBC, and of course keep listening to NBC Radio 1. Bye for now.
This is NBC.